awesome. I love that one.
If we put it in water, we'll get little plants. It'll
Really?
root. Yeah. It roots
Let's
great.
do that.
Where's it from?
It's from Matt Holywell.
Oh.
From what?
All right, so it's a Jamaican tree mint.
Jamaican me crazy, mint.
Jamaican me crazy. Hey, we just went live, so we're talking about
Jamaican
talking about
mint.
marijuana,
Nom, nom, nom,
Jamaican
nom.
mint.
Look at it. Don't you want it?
I've tried that.
So we'll see. I'm not sure if Angelina's gonna make it on this live.
I'm ready for you all to call me a space cadet.
But Saul, we're talking about marijuana. So yeah, you were just talking about how for you it makes you anxious.
Yeah.
And,
I like how you're putting it in.
and you wish you could be a cool kid.
I do sometimes wish I could be a cool kid and smoke pot, but it makes me anxious, so I can't actually work with that.
Have you ever had a good experience?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah. But I don't know what delineates the good experiences from the not good experiences, so
Yeah.
no.
I remember they once asked Bob Dylan about his drug use, and he's like, drug use, what are you talking about? And they were like, marijuana. And he's like, oh, marijuana's not a drug, it just makes you see the world sideways. And it's good to see the world sideways sometimes.
I feel like I see the world sideways a lot.
I feel like you do, yeah. I don't think you need it. But it's interesting. It's interesting times because half, I think, the states in the U.S.,
Please help me see the world sideways.
it's allowed now. So, yeah, I think, I remember the first time I smoked pot in high school. It was like in my friend who was a few years older basement, and me and my friend Jason had like smoked before. And I just remember everyone looked like birds. And then we went to Taco Bell as like an initiation. And I remember that's when the paranoia set in was at Taco Bell because I ordered 2 soft-shelled Chacos. And then my friends lost it because I said Chacos. And like I assumed like when we went out in public, it was like everyone like knew.
Everyone knows.
We were high, and like the sirens were gonna come, and it's like hi kids in high school. But then like I guess you grow up and you realize how innocuous and like normal that is. But then like me and my friend Jason were talking about how pot is actually pretty cool because it was like before it was like. It was very much stigmatized, and then we came up with this code word on MSN Messenger that we would call it orange juice, so no one knew what we were talking about, not knowing that his mom was reading all of his MSN conversations.
Teenagers just being like, hey, do you got some orange juice?
Unfortunately, we didn't know that his mom read the archive of all of his MSN conversations, so what happened was his mom found out what we were talking about, broke our code because she broke into his MSN, and then she called my mom, and then my mom had me pulled out of school, and then like she's waiting, it's like it sounds intimidating in the 15-passenger van because I had a lot of siblings, and then she's basically like, you can admit you smoke pot. Or we're gonna go to the police department and like get a drug test. So I got like hightail busted like the first time. It was like they hacked our communication and they infiltrated us, and so that was fun. But people thought it was a pothead in college, but I actually didn't smoke much pot. I drank more, but people thought I was a pothead because I was relaxed about tests.
And you told me earlier that you kind of wish that you were a pothead instead of a partier.
Yeah, all those times when we were binge drinking, I think, I remember when I was in 2014, I was stuck in Iceland for a while because I didn't have enough money to get off the island. But then I made it to Amsterdam, right? So I could go to the coffee shops, we could get like a joint. And at this...
Super. Gracias,
Miguel. So at this time of my life, like, we were doing a lot of partying and going out to the bars and drinking and maybe having not like 2 beers at the bar, but like 10 beers at the bar or like 10 cocktails or maybe more, who knows. So I remember to me thinking, wow, this is great that I can go hang out with what I thought were cool people at this coffee shop in Amsterdam. And it's like €3 for a joint, which kind of lasts all day. and you can order other coffee, you can play chess, you can have these conversations. So like that to me, as someone in my mid-20s at that time, was just like, what we're doing in America, like, why don't we have, and we still really don't have that option. There aren't really, I mean, you can go to the dispensaries now in America and you can get pot, and it's pretty cool. Like, everyone in New York is smoking, and like, how mainstream it is. I remember when Christian Amanpour, like, and came to, like, cover stuff, and Christian Amanpour didn't ask if she could get weed from us, like me and the other volunteers, but some members of her crew were like, hey, you guys got weed, you know, these guys that, you know, worked with for ABC News in New York. So I think it's, yeah, it's interesting how stigmatized it especially was in Bismarck, North Dakota, but now how sort of mainstream and normalized. And I think it'll be more fun in New York when you can have bars that actually just serve marijuana rather than.
Don't they have that already?
There aren't places I know of in the States where you can like go in and socialize and smoke and buy like a joint.
Well, you can't smoke indoors.
I remember, so after I went to Amsterdam on this trip, I stopped in Barcelona for 10 days, and they have these THC clubs there, where like to smoke in Spain, you have to own, it has to be your house. You can like smoke in your house. So you own like 30 euros of this place, and then you like buy tokens, and then you can trade the tokens for like joints at these places in Barcelona. So those are fun.
Because you can't buy it direct.
Yeah, but again, that's a social atmosphere where you can hang out with people and do that. There aren't really places. I mean, everyone in the bars in New York is like stepping outside and like smoking weed on the street corner now, so it's pretty normalized and accepted. And I don't think any Angelina and I, when we're in New York, like she's always blazing a joint as we walk on the blocks.
LA has that type of restaurant where you can eat and smoke.
Oh, that's
and buy
cool.
there.
That's cool. I haven't been to LA. But yeah, I know in New York, I don't think the police do anything if you're smoking in the street. I think it's just.
Oh no, it's totally.
Is it legal? You can smoke in the street?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah.
You can
Everyone
do it
thinks
everywhere.
so. Yeah.
But I'm not a.
People smoke in the parks, so there's always been a lot of. I lived in Colorado when, right after pot became legal, and you could grow plants, and I remember at the time.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Curious about something.
Yeah.
So now that you know how you had your experience in Taco Bell of like paranoia, everybody knows, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Now that it's legal to smoke everywhere and you can smoke on the streets, do you think that like paranoia, shame, kind of piece is going to be missing for people who are smoking now?
I think for a lot of people, I mean, I don't know, maybe there's something that just makes some people paranoid because they're like, it shifts the view a little bit. Maybe they're holding on to the other view. But I think a lot of the paranoia was that you could get in big trouble.
Right, exactly.
I remember when me and my brother were jamming, the cops came and like froze this apartment, and they hauled off the owner of the apartment, his best friend Tony. We had just smoked weed, and we were singing making up a song called Tony Got Stoned, and the neighbor had like complaining about a noise thing, and it was the type of knock. We told Tony like, don't go to the door. Like, that's not our friend. And what we didn't know is, he was like near school, so it was like, but me and my brother, we like played all these protest songs to the police in North Dakota. We were like, our dad is on the county commissioner. Like we're also a little intoxicated, so we definitely applied like a pressure campaign. And somehow we got out. Somehow I think the cops were tired of us abusing them. Like, it was like daybreak, like 5 a.m. They let us go, but they didn't let Tony go because it was his house.
Oh, no.
And my brother pulled like this hijinks maneuver to like smuggle all of the pot he had brought out of the apartment, thinking that Tony was good then, but like while saying he was going to the bathroom, and the cops were like watching because they couldn't come in the apartment. They were freezing the scene so they could get a warrant to like then really busted. So, that's what makes you paranoid. Is like literally that.
Also, I'm wondering, like, is there still a girl in me that's like, oh no, I'm gonna get in trouble? That way, the paranoia, because you said you get anxiety too, and it's like, oh, is there a desire to be good that's like so embedded in us that's where it comes from, or it's just a chemical thing?
I mean, I think there's like there's stigma in my family, right? There's.
Wanted to hear what she
Sorry.
It's interesting.
You thought it was a chemical thing, you said.
No, I say it's interesting as a reflection, and maybe it's like because we're all different, and so we all have different chemical interaction in our brain and nervous system. So maybe just for some of us it's like chemical, But I love also what you say also about paranoia because it brings another vision. Maybe we're holding into the old visions. It can be a lot of things. I think everything is like kind of valid.
Yeah, and I think a famous guy that smokes pot every day is like Joe Rogan, who admits that, and he does a lot in the world. So it's like, I think there's like the stereotype of the lazy pothead who's using it to avoid doing anything in life. And South Park, I think there's a Stan in South Park put it well, where they did this episode a long, long time ago, because I've been quoting this probably since like college or something, high school. And they kind of got through the stigma. They're like, smoking marijuana is not going to support terrorism. It's not going to make you crazy. It's not going to make you think you can fly and jump over any of this, like, descendants of reefer madness, paranoia around it. But it might make you okay with being bored. And it's when you're bored that you should be bettering yourself and, like, learning a new skill. So if, like, I think for some people it can put them in, like, a holding pattern where... But you can do that with anything. So having said that, I think for people that are going to choose a substance to, like, avoid life, pot's, like, probably better than alcohol or any of the other harder things, or even the pharmaceuticals that one might outsource the fact that they're really not okay living life just on their own in these terms. So I remember when someone asked me not so long ago if I smoked pot, I said, I think you'd be very foolish not to in these times. It's like, it's legal in New York, it's legal in Colorado. Like, of course I partake in these places, and, there's definitely like a secret wing of my whole family that's always burning it down. And we have to hide, in weddings we all have to disappear into the bushes, but there's camaraderie in that too, of, we're the cool ones at the campfire. We're the ones with the guitars. And I find communities in general around the world, because I've been around the world, where people are smoking a lot of pot, I prefer to where people are drinking a lot of hard liquor. As by and large, those are usually better scenes of I think, whether it's tea, coffee, or pot, I think substance we always want to look at and see what it brings us, what it takes from us, what the tax is on it, and be realistic in our perspective of it, not just say it's good, it's bad, like anything in life, it's how we use it.
Yeah, and look for harm reduction, right? Like, that's the whole game. I don't believe in abstinence culture by any means, but I think that it's good, as you say, to just like check in with exactly what you said, what it brings and what it takes, and then make some decisions about harm reduction.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that have like ended their use of pharmaceuticals with. Okay, Victoria, I liked acid. Okay, you were into it. Innocuous is a good word.
Someone else is talking about their experience.
I get paranoid, so I don't enjoy it.
The anxiety as well.
Yeah.
Just trying to read.
Yeah, I wonder about the anxiety and how much of it is conditioned and how much is it. Because I've had moments of kind of being paranoid. I mean, I remember I smoked dabs with my little brothers in the garage, and I'll never want to smoke dabs again. I remember even being suspicious before we did. I was like, in my day, we didn't need a blowtorch with a liter of gas.
Yeah.
This seems like we're not... And then my younger brother would be like, it's just weed. I'm like, it's a blowtorch. So then we smoked it, and I remember for like the next 6 hours, I just hid under the covers, like afraid someone was going to come and talk to me. And then they asked me how it was, and I told them, horrible. I said and they said,
give me some
I said, look, guys, never have I smoked a joint that I hid from the world under my cover. Like, it's just never done that with, like, a joint's never, like, brought me immediately into the feeling I needed to hide from people. And then they said a curious thing. They said, oh, you just have to, like, get used to it. And I said, I don't want to get used to it. Like, so kids today are not smoking necessarily the ganja of, but what is nice about dispensaries is I find if I am smoking weed, I like one with high CBD. And I ask them, I tell them, like, I'm a writer, and I like kind of the creative spark of, like, sometimes you have a monotonous day, and you have to do a lot on a computer, and I find that can keep you in the game in some ways. If you're smoking weed, or if you're drinking tea, I find whether it's, I've definitely gone through, I've never been one to want to create with alcohol. That sort of, to me, is always the end of creation, where, I mean, maybe we would spew songs over a campfire with a bottle of whiskey back in the day, but no, unlike Hemingway, I've never felt like, yeah, this is gonna give me some edge. But yeah, pot definitely. But in terms of the creativity it infuses, I am always abundant in inspiration, and so normally I just need those blocks to bring it down into something and put it out in the world.
My ex he has ADHD, and so he would tell me that, like, the only way for his mind to slow down enough for him to follow a single thread was by working with cannabis.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if it's something like that for you, but I know a lot of people, just the way that their brains are organized, they need that too.
I mean, big pharmacies against it, right? Because they're afraid it'll replace a lot of these expensive antidepressants. So is it anything that you can grow from the ground like this cactus that big pharmacy against? Like, we should probably take a pretty close look at it. Because in terms of, like, pain killing and, like, big pharmacy just got, like, millions of people addicted to painkillers and, like, killed. Hey, Dahi.
How's it going, guys? Could I see if that couple is bigger? Looks like it is.
You're gonna just take my capo right before performance for your recording, Dahi? Alright. Yeah, that's the kind of man Dahi is.
He has a good song.
Yeah, that's good. He doesn't smoke weed, so that's what, you know.
That's right.
He's
He
just
needs the
aggressively
capo.
going to, like, grabbing at things. Dahi drinks beer. Yeah, but to prove defamation, he has to prove loss. Yeah. What did he lose? I lost a couple. All right, so this song is like, I remember Angelina, hopefully maybe she'll appear in the comments and we'll get her on, but she was telling me maybe people will think it's about Mother Mary, and I was like,
Oh no.
Angela, this is so clearly a song about marijuana that, like, no one's gonna be confused about which Mary we're talking about. Mary Jane is, it's in the vernacular.
Can I tell you something? My grandmother, who's 104, her name
She's alive?
is Mary Jane.
She's 104?
You're gonna have me forever, Luke.
Well, you wanna have me forever? Hey, Saul, what's your instrumentation? We gotta get everyone involved. Are you on the frame?
Press the A
I'm out of
minor.
the frame now.
Play an A minor. I want to
Hey,
make
someone
sure
can
if you
sit
look
up
at
here. The cactus, you wanna sit up here, Cam?
Oh, I need to get the shaker.
Okay, get a shaker.
Have you got a shaker?
If I do, I don't know where it is.
Just grab some rice, baby.
Grab some rice.
I got a jar here with some.
So I didn't write this song. This is Angelina Del Carmen's song. But it was fun to, after, years of sort of doing musical things together, to put something down. And she has a release coming.
Emphatically not true. He finds lots funny. He just doesn't express it.
Yeah. So Brandy's in Canada, so it's very cold right now. So we have to,
Oh no, I'm not saying anything's wrong with Brandy. I'm just saying that.
Oh, no,
Saul
I'm not
definitely
either.
finds things funny. Wait,
You're gonna play the band. Do you play the
Do I
band?
find things
let's
funny?
ask Saul. I'm making assumptions.
I don't know. I find some things funny, yeah.
He's kind of one of those personalities where, like, he's been having a joke for like 10 years. And he forgot he's in a joke. So that just has become his personality.
Yeah, that's true.
So what are your thoughts on, well, we didn't actually need a copper for this song, because I'm sorry, Dahi, if you're watching later, that I made such a big deal out of it. I think Dahi watches all my videos. At least when he's aware. He's a top fan.
I don't find this funny. I don't really know what's going on. But I'm glad everyone, like me, else happy.
I don't know any of my friends that...
I'm getting a little tea drunk.
Any of my friends... Oh, yeah, we have tea.
I actually laugh a lot when I smoke weed. I think that's what I love about weed. Like, I laugh so much that, like, I can't breathe when I'm, like, on the floor. And I'm laughing about something, like, so stupid, like I love that. That can feel like such a relief. Like,
But do you start breathing again?
yeah, and I breathe. Yeah, breathing. I breathe a lot when I smoke weed because my mind is going crazy. So then I start doing deep breathing. And
So my first stop off in New York, we jammed this in the yard with Mr. Philip Tripp and I guess Julianne, no, Angelina, I was confused then.
Yes, you do.
That's because they live in the same neighborhood in Queens. And they both end in R. Anyways, I know who they are.
I know you do.
you want to smoke on the bar?
Oh, that's the singing bottle. Listen.
That's so creepy.
Oh my god.
It's
It
haunted.
sings, yeah. Singing bottle. Alright, so everyone can sing along.
I'm gonna come by your cabin. No way.
That bottle's from a land far away. But there's a bottle in the first lyrics of the problem. It's in a key from a far off land. In the Aegean Sea. We'll wait for the chainsaw. There we go. It's part of the rhythm section.
Calling it, yeah.
Down, down, down to the bottom of a barrel is a bottle of rum. Candy red, apple lips, I'm shaking my hips. Mary Jane is having fun inside my head. She's never left me alone and she never left me dead. Beauty queen of nothing, I'm not being mean. Oh Mary Jane, oh Mary Jane, Mary Jane, oh Mary Jane, Mary Jane, Mary Down, 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 close the guns. Champagne down, kept the pack, shaking my eyes. Having fun inside my head. She's never left me alone, she's never left me for dead. Beauty queen of nothing, I'm not being mean. Oh Mary Yeah. There's a construction site up there. It's Mario plays the bass.
Yeah.
No, he does. He literally plays.
It's got a lot of
He plays the
feedback
bass
on there.
guitar in the church. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah, have you ever gone to see it?
And they got buddies.
Has he ever played
All right, so good to see you. We'll probably come back at some point with Angelina in New York, since it's her song. But yeah, happy to have this version out in the world. You can check it out. Hopefully it's popping up on your screen, yeah? So, thanks for tuning in. We're going to check in on Mr. Dahi now and make sure he's dropping the right guitar track.